Now, ever since the Object 775 Pancake's been released, there has been a question, well, was the Merkava Mk.1 finally been dethroned as the king of Tier 8 premium vehicles? And well, after driving both for a while now, I would actually say both vehicles are very different, and the Merkava definitely is not dethroned from its previous title. That thing is still absolutely insane, but both have different weaknesses and strengths, and today we'll be taking a look at both of these vehicles. So the Pancake here, as we already have seen in previous videos, has 80 gems. It is very small, very flat, wide. It's a very ratty vehicle in appearance. Has a insanely tough upper frontal plate, but the weak spot is actually fairly simple. Basically shoot the lower plate and use high explosive and shoot the upper portion of the turret, and this vehicle is basically destroyed. Firepower wise, definitely has greater firepower than the Merkava. Merkava does have a decent 105mm main cannon, but it's having a lot less penetration. However, in top tier the difference really didn't matter much. Both weapons are actually really good, but the Merkava doesn't have an outloader and the Pancake does have an outloader, has 80 gems, firepower definitely better than the Object. Armor wise, the Merkava is tall and has that huge engine block at the front that eats shells. Survivability wise, despite the Object having much tougher armor, it's actually much more difficult to destroy Merkava from the front, especially because of that engine block, and the turret of this thing is really tough as well. The survivability definitely better on the Merkava, and the maneuverability is also better on the Merkava, has a better reverse speed and overall feels a bit more maneuverable because it is a bit more maneuverable. And I would actually say the Merkava is still easier to use than the Pancake because of its height. Now again, Object 775 will probably dominate in realistic battles because it's small and easy to hide and very difficult to detect. But at the same time, Merkava is a bit taller, and you can easily hide the whole of the vehicle behind obstacles. And if you only have the turret exposed, the Merkava is ridiculously annoying, insanely annoying to destroy if you're hold down with a Merkava, because the turret is very tough. Now the Merkava isn't immortal though, definitely not a super tank, and definitely not something that you cannot destroy in the game. If the Merkava is slightly angled, just shoot at the side or at the front wheel basically, and the shell will land right in the ammo. It's definitely a lot more difficult to pop a Merkava than to pop a Object, because with the Object you can just shoot at the lower plate and boom, there goes the Object. Or just use high explosive, shoot at the top of the turret with the Object in the commander's hatch, and the Object just explodes. The Merkava is a bit more, definitely a bit tougher versus high explosive shells. You can still overpressure the Merkava if you land the shell right below the gun, and if you hit the upper portion of the hull of the vehicle, that's basically where you can use high caliber high explosive on this vehicle. But in general that's a bit difficult to achieve because it's just a nasty vehicle to deal with high explosive. You just used 80 gems or AAP FSDS shells versus the Merkava. That will, generally speaking, do a lot more damage to this vehicle. So those were the differences on paper between the vehicles. Now, gameplay wise, as I mentioned before, Merkava is much easier to drive around and to use. It's the same thing with the Leopard. The Leopard is also much more easier to use than to use the Object. Primarily, I would say the main reason for that is definitely the low profile of the vehicle. I mean, the vehicle being flat is an advantage, but at the same time can also be a big disadvantage. And the reverse speed being not the best, especially when you have other vehicles that have like 20-30 km/h reverse speeds, and then you have the Object with 6. again, not the worst, definitely not the worst, but on the scale that we have right now, yeah, it's on the lower end. So the reverse, you definitely will not reverse out of trouble with the object. With the Merkava you can do that easily. With the object, no. And of course, the object's hull seems to be a bit elongated. I mean, the vehicle's design is definitely a bit unique and different from other vehicles, so it does take some getting used to. And this comparison is particularly interesting because the Merkava is a big box vehicle. You can obtain the vehicle if you go open the historical crates. There is a chance you can get the vehicle, always a chance that you can get the vehicle, so you can obtain this technically for free. You can get the Merkava technically for free, while the object S23 is only it's exclusively a paid platoon only. And despite being a paid platoon only, there's a Merkava, and there's a dead Merkava now. Despite being a paid platoon, you would imagine a lot of players that were afraid that the vehicle is overpowered or something. It definitely is not overpowered, I can tell you that right away. It's difficult to use. That thing is difficult to use. It's not as easy as it seems, especially if you know where to shoot the vehicle. Lower plate and high explosive in the commander's hatch, boom, goodbye object. And you can do that practically. You can penetrate the object with basically any APFSDS shell if you shoot at the weak spots. Definitely do not attempt to shoot at the upper plate. The upper plate is quite angled. Maybe ATGMs can go through, but AP shells, no. Just shoot the lower plate or shoot the turret. Much better chance to disable the vehicle if you shoot the turret, lower plate, or commander's hatch with high explosive, or just use ATGM, and ATGM will just go through and wreck the vehicle in any case. Well, and as I mentioned before, the Merkava is one of the most fun vehicles at the moment in the game. One of my favorites as well. I've been using this thing I use this thing almost daily. It is ridiculously good. And back when it was originally released, it was a must-have. I rarely say that. I rarely say that the vehicle is must-have, must-buy or something, but this thing, if you want to farm the leaderboard, or if you want to farm in the future when they separate vehicles from the platoon system, because very soon we will get a classic tech tree progression in the game, which I'm fine with actually. You will get to keep all the vehicles that you already have, so I would say that's fair to release a tech tree now. But Merkava will make the grind easier. Merkava will make the overall game much more fun. A Merkava platoon is very fun as well. Flying Merkava, there we go. I was just missing wings. If I had wings, this thing would have flew off right now. But yeah, on a premium scale, I would say this is still the best premium vehicle, and I don't say that lightly. The best tier 8 premium vehicle, because it is still really good, still very easy to use, still quite powerful, and very easy to use. Now let's go to the PANCAKE. Why does this game give me this map every time I take this vehicle is a mystery to me. I had this map every time I took the PANCAKE out. Annoying to get the same map 10,000 times, but you know, it is what it is. So, Merkava on this position is very scary, because only the turret is basically visible. And that was a double kill. I mean, as I mentioned before, this vehicle definitely has much better firepower than the Merkava. That's one thing that is undeniable. ATGM plus a auto-loader system is, I would say, much better than a normally loaded main gun that only fires a PFSDS shells, classic shells basically. So firepower wise, yeah, this is definitely up there being good, undeniable up there being good. And that also brings us the question, well, what is the vehicle with the best firepower in tier 8? Honestly, I'm kind of torn between the Leopard L44 and this thing. Merkava definitely does not have the best main gun in tier 8. It's a good gun, but definitely not the best shell, not the highest penetration, but it gets the job done, and honestly, for what it is, it's really good. I can't complain about it. But I'm torn between the Object and the Leopard. Which one of these has the more powerful main gun, or should I say the better firepower? Because of just because of the autoloader and the fact that this thing can eat 80 gems like there is no tomorrow, I would say Object has definitely the best tier 8 main gun, the highest firepower out of any vehicle in tier 8. Sorry for the weird cut. Now, as I mentioned before, out of all tier 8 premiums, the Object probably has the highest firepower. At the moment, I can't really name any other tier 8 vehicle that is able to launch 6-8 gems within 15 seconds. I can't really name any other vehicle within tier 8 that is basically a medium tank with a outloading cannon that uses 80 gems. So I'm saying, at least based on the firepower, this vehicle is probably the highest firepower of all tier 8 premiums. And I'm not going to add the normal tanks in this comparison because I don't really like to compare premiums with non-premiums, especially because it's just the whole game is a bit more there's a lot more to it than just firepower and stuff like that. I mean, I've had some normal tier 8 vehicles that I actually did better in than in this vehicle. So, but based on the firepower alone, this is probably the best out of all tier 8 premiums. However, it remains difficult to use. So this vehicle is definitely not for a new player. I would say this vehicle is definitely not suitable for a new player because it's definitely difficult to use, and you need to know where to go with the vehicle in order to take advantage of it. Oh look, a pancake and a pancake, and boom, there we go. And just like that, next missile already loaded. This is ridiculous. I mean, the rate of fire on this is definitely insane. But with that being said, that would be it for this video. Tell me what you think about this comparison. Tell me what you think about the Merkava and the Object. Do you think that the Object is now the best tier 8 premium, or is the Merkava still the king? And with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe as always. I'll see you next time.